The fact that you are trying to be worthy is actually destroying your manifestations. The feeling of not enough. That's been programmed into your nervous system, and it is the exact thing blocking your desired reality. And today, I'm going to show you Dr. Joe's exact formula to manifest without feeling worthy. And this isn't about forcing positive thoughts or working on your self-esteem. That is the old model. This is about accessing brainwave states that completely overcome worthiness concerns altogether. And the best part is it works even if you've been struggling with worthiness your entire life. And before we begin, if you would like to work with me on how to apply the one neurological principle to attract high-paying clients, double your income, and finally feel in control of your business, click on the link below and watch how it works. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how the people who need money the most never seem to have it? And the people who desperately want a relationship can't find them? That is not coincidence. That is frequency. And here's what nobody tells you about worthiness. It's not a spiritual truth. It's not a truth. It is a neurological pattern. Worthiness is a lie that's been basically conditioned into us. It's a habit. And like a habit, you don't need to break it. You just need to overcome it completely. Think about it like this. If you are trying to manifest while feeling unworthy, it's like trying to clean a dirty floor with a dirty mop. You're just spreading mess around, for real. But Dr. Joe Dispenza has discovered a way to completely sidestep the worthiness question altogether. He even says this himself, like you gotta feel worthy to receive. But his technique bypasses all that, or overcomes that. It's a way to manifest that doesn't require you to feel worthy first, okay? But let's start with something that might trigger your old frequency. Worthiness is a scam. Whew. Sorry. Worthiness is a scam. I'm serious. The entire concept of being worthy of your manifestations is one of the biggest traps in the spiritual communities. And I fell for it too. Oh my God. I remember sitting in my room surrounded by affirmation posts, repeating I am worthy everywhere in my bathroom mirror. As soon as I opened the light, there's an affirmation post, I am worthy, over and over again. And you know what happened? Absolutely nothing. Because I was still operating from the frequency of lack. Now, Dr. Joe's research shows when you focus on becoming worthy, you're actually reinforcing the neural networks of unworthiness. You're telling your brain, I need to become worthy because right now I'm not. And your subconscious mind is like, all right, you got it. You got it, homie. You're not worthy. I'll make sure to keep creating that reality for you, okay? Oh man, just looking back on it now, it's like mind blown. It's like telling someone that don't think about a pink elephant. And what's the first thing they think about? A pink fucking elephant. Now the same happens when you try not to feel unworthy, right? You're actually strengthening those neural pathways and your manifestations. Well, they are getting further and further by the second. And here's where it gets interesting. Because Dr. Joe discovered something revolutionary. You don't need to feel worthy to manifest. You just need to access a different brainwave state altogether. So, well, let's talk about that. Let's actually talk about what's happening in your brain when you feel unworthy. When you feel unworthy, your brain is in high beta brainwave states, the stress state. This is where your analytical mind is running the show, constantly looking for problems, reminding you of all the reasons you are not enough, that you are not worthy. Sound familiar? But manifestation doesn't happen in high beta brainwave states. It happens in alpha, and the theta, and delta, and gamma. That is where all the magic happens. When you drop into alpha and theta states, something remarkable happens. Your personal identity, your ego, including your worthy concerns, begins to dissolve. You become what Dr. Joe calls no body, no one, no thing, nowhere, in no time. Which is what I call ego death, right? Or identity death. This is the key that most people miss in this state. Worthiness is completely irrelevant. It's like worrying about the weather in a video game, right? It's not part of that reality. I remember when I first experienced this, I was doing one of his meditations, and those voices saying, "You're not good enough, just get up," it just disappeared. Not because I convinced those voices that I was worthy, but because I accessed a state where I didn't exist in the same way. Where it was no longer me. That's the best way I can describe it. It was no longer me and the identities attached to it. And guess what happened within a week? I was manifesting business collaborations that I've been trying to create for months. And that opportunity suddenly appeared. Not because I felt worthy, because I accessed a state beyond worthiness altogether. I overcame worthiness. I overcame unworthiness. But here's the funny part. And this is where most spiritual teachers get it completely wrong. I didn't need to spend years of meditation to access this state. Dr. Joe's formula is more than magical. It can get you there in minutes, not months. But you need to master being present. Now, I need to warn you, your old frequency or your old self is going to fight you. It's going to fight this hard. Now, it's going to send you thoughts like, this is way too simple. It's not going to work for me specifically. And you got to remember, that's not you. That is your old programming trying to maintain control. So, Dr. Joe's formula for manifesting without feeling worthy is heart coherence combined with brain coherence. Simple as that. Your heart actually generates an electromagnetic field that is 5,000 times stronger than your brain. A lot of people live in our brain, right? We live in our minds. When your heart is in coherence, it's a smooth, harmonious rhythm. It creates a field that can literally override your brain's worthiness concerns. Remember, worthiness is a scam. And this isn't woo-woo stuff. It's measurable with instruments. When your heart is in coherence, your brain naturally drops from high beta into alpha and theta states. Remember that's where manifestation happens as well. So let's do a step-by-step process because it's actually amazing, right? If you have not come across Dr. Joe's work, here's a bit of a taste. First, you're going to place attention in the center of your chest, your heart space. Second, just breathe slowly and deeply into that space. In through your nose and out through your nose as well. Okay? Simple as that. You just got to get so relaxed. Third, and this is crucial, you're going to generate a feeling of appreciation or gratitude. Not for what you want to manifest, but for anything in your life right now. That's it. Something simple as your pet, the sunshine, your partner, even the fact that you're breathing and alive right now, right? When you combine those three elements, something remarkable happens. Your heart rhythm shifts into coherence. Your nervous system recalibrates. It tells your body that the threat is over, okay? You drop into alpha and theta states as well. And this is where it gets good. In this state, you completely overcome the worthiness question altogether. It becomes irrelevant. Because you are operating from the unified field where individual worthiness doesn't exist. One of my clients had been trying to create a relationship for months. And she is a single mom of two. And she had beliefs around that because she didn't feel worthy of a man. She thought that no man would want her because she's got two kids. Like, how ridiculous is that? No matter how many affirmations she did, that block remained. She tried, belief switching techniques. She tried a lot of things. We did these techniques, and within 2 weeks, one of her friends introduced her to one of her other friends at a gathering, and they hit it off immediately. 2 weeks later, they started dating. Not because she finally convinced herself that she was worthy, but because she accessed a state where worthiness wasn't even part of the equation. But Dr. Joe takes us even further, and it's what I call with identity disillusion. And this is where things get super powerful. Most manifestation techniques fail because they are trying to add something to your current identity. But your current identity includes all of those worthiness issues. It's like trying to build a skyscraper or a building or a house on a cracked foundation, right? You're trying to overlay it onto something that is cracked, not stable. But Dr. Joe teaches us to temporarily dissolve our identity completely. No body, no one, no thing, nowhere, no time. To become nobody before being the new somebody who has what you deserve. This better be clicking for you. Because after you've established heart coherence, you focus on the space around your body. But not your body itself, the space around your body, okay? When you expand your awareness to fill the entire room, then beyond your room, and in the building, and then beyond the city, you're expanding. Basically, you're leaving everything behind. As you do this, something fascinating happens. Your personal identity, with all of its worthiness concerns, with all of its baggage, begins to dissolve. You are no longer operating as that limited you with all of your past programming. Powerful. Instead, you are operating, listen, as pure consciousness. And guess what? You as pure consciousness, pure consciousness does not have any worthiness issues. Period. From this expanded state, you can then mentally rehearse your desired reality as if it already happened. Not from a place of wanting or needing, but from a place of simply selecting the reality from infinite possibilities. Like Netflix, right? All the shows already exist in the library. You're not trying to create them. You're just choosing which one you want to watch. With reality, you're choosing which one you want to experience. Now, here's the best part. You don't need to maintain this state 24/7. Even 15 to 20 minutes a day in this state can completely override years of worthiness programming. Now, how do you know if you're doing this correctly? Well, Dr. Joe actually has specific biological markers that indicate you've successfully overcome your worthiness concerns. Now, the first one is your heart rate variability. It increases, and you can measure this with apps now. I think HeartMath has a measuring device for that. But secondly, your stress hormones like cortisol, they decrease. And you start feeling good in the moment, right? Even do not disregard a neutral state. That is a great place to be in. That is homeostasis, okay? Third, and this is my favorite, synchronicities start appearing in your life. Those magical coincidences that seem too perfect to be random. But here's where most people get wrong. They wait to see these signs before they believe it's working. That's backwards. The signs appear after you've already made the shift. Remember, in the field, observation affects reality. And if you're constantly checking to see if it's working, you're actually creating resistance. Separation. It's like planting a seed and then digging it up every day to see if it's growing, right? You gotta trust the process. Do the technique consistently and let the results surprise you. And I remember when I first started practicing this, I was so skeptical. My mind was fighting it hard, right? It was fighting it hard. Now that I look back on it, it was fighting it because it knew it was about to die. But I recommend doing it for 30 days straight. The first couple of weeks, you're gonna have a battle with your mind. Maybe you're lucky and it'll instantly just shut up. But around day 17, something like that, something strange happens. I stopped caring about whether I was worthy or not. The question just disappeared completely from my being. It purged. That's when things started manifesting effortlessly. And it's usually around the 2-week mark when my clients start to experience these synchronicities. But not because we felt worthy, but because we have accessed a state where worthiness wasn't even part of the equation. So there you go. You don't need to feel worthy to manifest your desires. You just need to access a state where worthiness is irrelevant. Through heart coherence and identity dissolution, you can overcome years of unworthiness programming and access the field directly. Now remember, your higher self doesn't care if you feel worthy or not. It only responds to your frequency. And when you access those brainwave states, your frequency naturally aligns with your desires. Remember, you don't need to be worthy. You just need to be nobody.